I don't understand why they called it a lemon. Why did they call it a lemon? It just confuses me. Why is a sex scene comparable to a fruit? I spent a good time in my teens around fan fiction. I've read them for a few years. I even wrote a few, albeit they're really bad. I'll get to that in another video. I actually beta read for a few years. In this time I've grown quite accustomed to the different, I don't want to say tropes because they probably aren't, but the common mannerisms that a lot of fanfictions have. There are some that are great. Coffee shop AUs are pretty cute, though they're overused. However, there are some that I absolutely hate at worst, and they mildly infuriate me at best. I tend not to get too pissy about fanfictions because there's not a lot you can expect from someone who isn't making a cent off their work. And because these websites are pretty much open access, anyone can join these websites and write basically anything they want. So the writers tend to be from different ages, levels of education, and some don't even speak English as their first language. So beggars can't really be choosers with that kind of stuff. And since there's a lot, you can always just click away and find another fanfiction that you like that's probably better written. No one's forcing you to read fanfictions that you don't like. But as somebody who used to beta read, these are just my opinions, and you don't have to listen to a word I say. Number 1, oversimplifying character interest. Something I've noticed about fanfictions is that if a character even slightly mentions something that they like, a lot of writers will just take that interest and run. They'll make that character's life surround that interest. And I've noticed a lot of this whenever I read Homestuck fanfiction. Just as an example, I think a character mentions apple juice like once, and there's just fanfictions of him, and he has like apple juice monologues and t-shirts, and he's just like obsessed with apple juice, and I don't know why. When this happens, I can totally tell the reader didn't pay enough attention or didn't care enough to make a multifaceted character. I don't know, when I was really young, it was super funny to me. I used to use the same tropes in my own works, but now it just seems less funny and more like lazy to me. I don't know. The word whilst. That's number 2. I don't actually, is it whilst? I don't know how it's pronounced. I never actually hear it in dialogue, but I see it a lot, especially in Wattpad. This is kind of just mostly a Wattpad example, but I do see stuff like this on fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own. A lot of people, especially younger teens, will use this word and they will think that it makes them sound really smart and more of a matured writer, but the thing is, they use it everywhere. like they'll use it in dialogue, they'll use it in just regular narrator speak, they'll just use it everywhere that they can, even though nobody uses that word in real life, and that's not how people talk. I'd understand if it was kind of a period piece, but even then, people don't say that all the time. I don't know. After reading a few fanfictions from Wattpad that I really liked the story of, their constant use of whilst, I don't know, just annoyed me to the point where I had to stop reading, which of course is fine, it's whatever. It doesn't make you sound smart, it makes you sound like you're trying to sound smart. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make you look like a better writer. It makes you look like you know the word whilst, and that's it. You can use the word, but I would recommend that you use it very sparingly, because your reader is going to start taking shots every time they say the word whilst. And you don't want an alcoholic on your hands, do you? For number 3, I will read you an excerpt of the most infamous fanfiction in the world, My Immortal. "I'm so sorry," he said in a shy voice. "That's all right. What's your name?" I questioned. "My name's Harry Potter, although most people call me Vampire these days," he grumbled. "Why?" I exclaimed. "Because I love the taste of human blood," he giggled. "Well, I am a vampire," I confessed. "Really?" he whimpered. "Yeah," I roared. Number 3 is being afraid to use the word said. I know that Tumblr comes out with like 500 things to say instead of said, but that's what happens when you're afraid of using said. You will use every other word instead of said, even if it doesn't fit, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't sound good, and it kind of stops the whole story in its tracks. You can use synonyms to replace said when it's right, but there is no problem with saying said. There isn't. The sooner that you get over your fear of using said, the better your writing will be. And sometimes you don't even need to say said. You could just pause it with an action or something like that, but you don't have to say he roared, he whimpered, he giggled. It's not, you don't need to do that. And it makes your writing look it makes it look bad. I hate it. It's just one of my pet peeves, and it's kind of the worst. Number 4 is a lightning round. Ready? Calling eyes orbs. Hi, it's creepy. Using no lube during gay sex. Just right lube. It's not that hard. Too many time skips. I understand when there's nothing going on, but do you really need 5 1 week laters every 2 sentences? Omegaverse stuff. Gross. Fetishizing gay men. Stop. Stop saying their tongues are fighting for dominance. Why are they fighting? Who's winning? How do they win? Don't hold your fanfic hostage. Just because it doesn't get kudos doesn't mean that you have to abandon the fic. And alrighty. That brings us to number 5. Number 5 is turning your characters abusive to push your love interest A to love interest B. Why? It leaves a terrible taste in my mouth. And also, if you need to turn your character's old love interest abusive to push them towards another love interest, that other love interest probably isn't good enough, and you shouldn't write them together maybe? Probably because they wouldn't be good together. I'm not gonna tell you what exactly to write, but this is kind of really weird and creepy. Not to mention, it's also like, you don't need to turn a character abusive to do that. Could have just been a healthy relationship that didn't work out, maybe due to communication issues. But no, nobody really wants that because they want the drama of having to deal with an abusive ex-partner and having to deal with the trauma of the abuse. I don't know why people like writing that. I mean, albeit I did write one like that when I was really young, but still not good for you. Don't do it. Again, these are just my opinions, and you don't have to listen to a single word I said. These are just what I personally dislike in fanfictions. And I also did some research to see like how many other people disliked this, or if it was just me and I was just going crazy. The only one where I'm literally going crazy is the word whilst, but I'm really passionate about that one for some reason. I'm just weird. Anyways, thank you for watching my video, and if you liked it, please give it a like and subscribe, and I will get back to you guys later. Bye!